Your house looks perfect, but the reason you still feel stuck is simple and uncomfortable. Your environment is quietly working against your nervous system every single day. This has nothing to do with bad luck, fate, or anything mystical. It's about how your brain and body respond to the space you live in. You can have a beautiful layout, expensive furniture, and everything placed correctly, but if the area around you is noisy, tense, overstimulating, or emotionally draining, your body never fully relaxes. When your body stays in a low state of stress, you don't rest deeply, you don't think clearly, and you slowly lose motivation without realizing why. Most people blame themselves at this stage. They think they're lazy, unfocused, or burnt out. But the truth is, your environment is constantly signaling your brain that it's not safe to fully power down. And when the nervous system doesn't reset, life starts to feel heavy. You wake up tired, small decisions feel exhausting, and progress feels blocked, even though nothing is wrong on the surface. This happens because homes don't exist in isolation. The sounds outside, the people nearby, the constant movement, the subtle tension in the neighborhood, all become part of your daily mental load. Your brain processes this whether you notice it or not. Over time, that invisible stress builds up and creates the feeling we call being stuck. Not stuck because you're failing, but stuck because your space is draining more energy than it gives back. This is why some people move into a perfect house and slowly feel worse, not better. And until you understand this, no amount of redecorating, positive thinking, or self-discipline will fix the real problem, because the problem isn't you. It's the environment you're trying to live and grow inside of. Section 1. The common belief. Most people believe that if a house looks good, life should naturally feel good inside it. This belief is so common that almost no one questions it. A clean space, a modern layout, good lighting, and a decent location are assumed to be enough to support happiness, focus, and motivation. When people move into a place like that, they expect relief. They expect their stress to drop, their productivity to improve, and their personal life to feel more stable. So when none of that happens, confusion sets in. Instead of questioning the environment, people turn inward and assume something must be wrong with them. They tell themselves they're just tired, overwhelmed, or not trying hard enough. This is the first mistake. The belief that a good-looking house automatically creates a good inner state ignores how humans actually respond to their surroundings. Design and aesthetics matter, but they are only one layer of a much larger system. A space can look perfect and still overload the senses, interrupt rest, or create constant low-level tension. Another common belief is that discomfort is normal and something you should simply push through. Many people normalize feeling uneasy at home because they assume adulthood is supposed to feel heavy and exhausting. They stay busy, stay distracted, and avoid asking why they never fully relax. This belief keeps people stuck because it disconnects cause from effect. The environment creates pressure, but the individual absorbs the blame. There's also a widespread idea that once you've invested in a place, you should adapt to it no matter what. People think leaving, changing, or questioning the space means failure. So they suppress their intuition and convince themselves that the problem will pass. Over time, this belief trains people to ignore their body's signals. Poor sleep, constant irritability, and mental fog become normal. The truth is, a healthy space should reduce effort, not increase it. It should help your nervous system settle, not stay on edge. The belief that, if it looks good, it must be good, prevents people from recognizing the deeper influences of sound, social environment, and constant stimulation. And as long as this belief remains unchallenged, people will keep trying to fix their lives while leaving the real source of friction untouched. Section 2. What energy really means. When people hear the word energy, they often think of something abstract or mystical. But in real life, energy is practical and measurable through how your body reacts to its surroundings. Energy is the state of your nervous system as it moves through your environment. It's the difference between feeling calm or alert, relaxed or tense, focused or scattered. Your brain is constantly processing information from light, sound, movement, space, and social cues. And it uses that information to decide whether it's safe to relax or necessary to stay on guard. When the environment sends mixed or stressful signals, your nervous system stays partially activated, even when nothing dramatic is happening. This is why a space can look quiet and orderly, yet still feel exhausting. It's not about how it appears, but about how much effort your brain needs to function there. Bright artificial lighting, constant background noise, visual clutter, or unpredictable interruptions all demand attention from your nervous system. Over time, this creates cognitive fatigue. You may not feel anxious in an obvious way, but you feel drained, unfocused, and mentally heavy. That is what people often describe as bad energy, when in reality it's sustained nervous system overload. True restorative energy comes from environments that reduce the number of decisions your brain has to make. Natural light that follows a rhythm, spaces that feel predictable, sounds that are consistent or minimal, and layouts that allow the body to move without obstruction all help the nervous system settle. When that happens, the mind clears, sleep improves, and motivation returns naturally. This isn't placebo or belief-based. It's how the human body is designed to respond to supportive environments. When people ignore this and push through discomfort, they slowly disconnect from their own signals. They blame themselves for low motivation or poor focus, not realizing that their space is constantly asking their nervous system to work harder than it should. Understanding energy in this way shifts the conversation from superstition to responsibility. It's no longer about chasing luck or fixing fate, but about recognizing how your environment either supports or quietly drains your capacity to live, think, and grow. Section 3. The part no one talks about, your surroundings. Most conversations about feeling stuck at home focus only on what's inside the house: furniture, layout, lighting, colors, clutter. Very few people talk about what's outside, even though it has just as much, if not more, influence on how you feel every day. Your home does not exist in a vacuum. It sits inside a wider environment that constantly interacts with your nervous system, whether you are aware of it or not. The street noise, the rhythm of the neighborhood, the behavior of people nearby, even the sense of tension or calm in the area, all seep into your mental state over time. You might not consciously notice it, but your brain does. It is always scanning for safety, predictability, and threat. If your surroundings are chaotic, loud, aggressive, or unstable, your nervous system never fully stands down. This is why someone can live in a beautiful house and still feel restless or irritable. It's not because the house is wrong, but because the surrounding environment keeps the body in a mild fight or flight mode. Constant traffic noise, neighbors who argue, unpredictable sounds, or a general feeling of disorder signal to the brain that it's not time to relax. Even subtle things matter. Footsteps above you at odd hours, doors slamming, music bleeding through walls, or a sense that you're always being watched or disturbed. Over time, these small stressors add up. They drain focus, shorten patience, and reduce emotional resilience. What makes this even harder is that people often adapt without realizing it. They tell themselves they're used to it, but adaptation doesn't mean the stress disappears. It just means the body carries it quietly. This is when people start feeling tired for no clear reason, unmotivated, or mentally foggy at home. They may avoid being in their own space, staying out longer, scrolling endlessly, or keeping noise on just to drown out the environment. These are coping mechanisms, not solutions. Surroundings shape behavior, mood, and decision-making far more than we like to admit. A calm, respectful environment supports clarity and recovery. A tense or overstimulating one slowly wears you down. This isn't about blaming neighbors or external forces. It's about recognizing reality. Until you acknowledge how much your surroundings affect you, you'll keep trying to fix the inside of your life, while the outside keeps quietly pulling you backward. Section 4. Why you feel tired at home. Feeling tired at home is one of the clearest signs that something in your environment is working against you. Home is supposed to be the place where your nervous system resets, where your body can shift out of alert mode and into recovery. When that doesn't happen, the fatigue you feel isn't caused by lack of sleep or motivation, but by constant low-level stress that never fully turns off. Even if you sit still, your body may still be working. This happens when your environment keeps sending signals that demand attention, caution, or adaptation. Noise, unpredictable movement, tension in the surroundings, or even subtle discomfort in the space prevent true rest. Many people assume rest simply means stopping activity, but real rest requires a feeling of safety. If your nervous system doesn't feel safe, it won't relax, no matter how long you lie on the couch. This is why some people feel more refreshed after leaving home than after staying in it. Their body can finally release tension when the environment becomes quieter, calmer, or more predictable. At home, however, they remain alert without realizing it. Over time, this creates a deep sense of exhaustion that sleep alone cannot fix. Another reason you may feel tired at home is that the space constantly asks you to adapt. Maybe you're always compensating for noise, adjusting to light, navigating clutter, or bracing for interruptions. Each adjustment is small, but together they drain mental and emotional energy. Your brain never fully switches off because it's always preparing for the next disturbance. This leads to mental fog, irritability, and a lack of motivation that feels personal but isn't. When people ignore this kind of fatigue, they often blame themselves and push harder, which only makes things worse. The truth is, if your home leaves you more drained than restored, it's not doing its job. Tiredness at home is not a character flaw or a sign of weakness. It's feedback from your body that the environment is not supporting recovery, and until that feedback is taken seriously, the exhaustion will continue, no matter how disciplined or positive you try to be. Section 5. What to look at first. When you feel stuck, the instinct is often to look inward first, to question your habits, your mindset, or your discipline. But before you do that, there's something more important to examine: the environment you're asking yourself to function in every day. The first thing to look at is not what you can fix about yourself, but what your space is demanding from your nervous system. A supportive environment should make life easier, not harder. If being at home requires constant adjustment, tolerance, or vigilance, that's where the problem begins. Start by asking simple, honest questions. Do you feel a sense of relief when you come home, or do you subconsciously brace yourself? Do your shoulders drop, your breathing slow, and your thoughts quiet? Or do you stay tense without noticing it? These physical signals matter more than opinions or aesthetics. Your body responds faster and more truthfully than your thoughts. If your body doesn't relax, your mind won't either. Next, look at predictability and control. Can you control your light, sound, and level of stimulation, or are they imposed on you by the surroundings? A space that constantly surprises your nervous system keeps it alert. True rest comes from environments that feel stable and understandable. This doesn't mean silence or perfection, but it does mean consistency. Only after these basics are addressed does it make sense to adjust furniture, layout, or design. Visual changes help, but they can't compensate for an environment that keeps you on edge. If you skip this step and go straight to surface fixes, you'll keep rearranging your space while feeling the same inside. Looking at your environment first isn't about blame, and it isn't about perfection. It's about recognizing that your ability to focus, rest, and move forward depends heavily on the conditions you live in. When those conditions support your nervous system, progress stops feeling forced and starts feeling natural again. The core message is simple. Feeling stuck is not always a personal failure. Often it's a response to an environment that quietly drains more energy than it gives back. A home doesn't need to be perfect or impressive to support you, but it does need to feel safe, calm, and restorative to your nervous system. When your space allows your body to truly relax, clarity and motivation return naturally. Real change begins not with forcing yourself to do more, but with creating an environment that stops working against you and starts supporting who you are trying to become. If this video resonated with you, I'd like to hear your experience. Have you ever lived in a place that looked good on the outside, but never felt right once you were inside it? Leave a comment and share what you noticed about how that space affected your mood, energy, or focus. Reading real experiences helps others recognize patterns in their own lives. If you found this perspective useful, consider liking the video so it reaches more people who might need it. And subscribe to the channel if you want more conversations about environment, psychology, and how the spaces we live in quietly shape who we become.